Hello, my good people. Have you ever wondered why children seem to pick a language so easily while adults are actually struggling to remember five new words? Have you ever wondered why that happens? Or maybe you've spent a whole week studying vocabularies only to forget it the next day. Hmm, that is bad. Now, today we are going to, you know, we're going to see, behind the scene of your brain and discover what actually happens when you learn a new language. And once you understand this science, you learn more effectively. I'm your host, Diana Mekubo. Let's dive into this beautiful dive. Remember to tell me where you're watching us from, which language are you currently learning, and how long have you learning this beautiful language? Okay, so let's dive into our live stream today. Now, um, you know, your brain is actually, sorry, is constantly creating new, neural connections. And now let's think of your brain as a forest. Let's say you are walking now into a forest. That forest nobody has ever gone to. Mhm. And we put it together, or we look at it as the first time you are learning a new word. Now when you are walking into this forest, you start creating a path, right? You start creating a path. You start creating a tiny path. And then the more you use it, the wider the path becomes. Isn't that true? And now eventually there is a highway. No, no, not literally like a highway, but there is a way. Like you can see you can see how you have walked through. Now that is why, you know, common words become, you learn them instantly. Mhm. You see, this is just like a language. At first you didn't know, but you start learning them slowly and slowly and slowly, but eventually you see, you start, you know uh, seeing the fruits of your labor because of your constant learning, because we say that your brain, constantly creates new neural connection, and through that, that is when now we see how once you acquire a language, or how a child actually acquires a language more than someone who is older. So we said first, see a new language as a forest, and you start creating a path, and the more you use that path, it widens, and eventually you are able to speak. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Let us look at another, interesting fact. Your words act, not your words, your brain actually does not store words like a dictionary. No, it doesn't. It stores them through connection. So the words that you have learned, they become linked with pictures. They become linked with pictures, linked with the sounds, linked with emotions, linked with, experiences, as well as linked with the conversations. And the richer the connection, the easier to recall. So, those who are watching me, what is that Swahili word do you remember the easiest? What is that Swahili word that would always come into your mind if you asked anything about Swahili? Please remember to type it in the comment section and I'll read it as I give you a shout out. Mm-hmm. What is that Swahili word that would always, be in your, or not even be in your, but what is that Swahili word that you always, remember? Yes, type it in the comment section and I'll see words. Let us interact through that. Now, um, repetition actually works magic. Mhm. And this is really, really fascinating because every time you review something, you are strengthening your neural path. Uh-huh. Every time you review something, you're strengthening your, your neural pathway. You remember the example that we gave, we say that, look at it as a forest that you are walking in. Mhm. The wider you walk, the more you walk on it, the wider the path becomes. Same way in this, every time you review something, you are actually strengthening your neural path. Not because you are memorizing, no, because you are making the connection to become very strong, or you're making the connection stronger. Now, let us think about this again. Another example. Think about you learning to ride a bicycle. I think this is something I should also try because I don't know how to ride a bicycle. Okay. And think about, learning, or think about learning to ride a bicycle. Do you actually learn it once? Do you? Do you learn how to ride a bicycle once? No, 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 no. What happens? There is repetition in order for you to become perfect, right? You keep on repeating each and every time so that you can become perfect. Now, that is the same way with language. That is how language works. You keep on doing the repetition, and through the repetition, you'd become, fluent in speaking it. The same way in riding a bicycle. If you keep on repeating, what happens? You'll know how to ride it. Now, it also works best in, spacing. you know Instead of you having to study 2 hours a week and then the next 2 hours a week, let's say you learn on Wednesday. On Wednesday you have your 2 hours and then you're done, you're waiting for the next week for Wednesday. No. In my other streams, if you followed, you have seen we have mentioned about consistency, where we say that you need to study every day. 10 to 15 minutes a day will really, really help you. And we see that researchers say that, consistently, if you, excuse me, if you have consistency in your learning and you practice every day, you know, it helps in long term retention. So consistency, you know, and regular study, it helps with regular retention. That is what research says, and that is indeed true. Now, how often do you practice your Swahili? How often do you practice your Swahili speaking? Yeah, not even speaking, but how often do you practice your Swahili language? Let me know in the comment section. Tell us how often you do this, and tell us, is it bearing fruits? Do you see like something that is really helping you, or you feel like, "Ooh, I need to look for another way that will help me in, that will help in long term retention?" Uh-huh. So type it in the comment section. Let me know which one you use and has it helped? Mm-hmm. And I think I've also had addressed this matter where, like, I think this was my live last week where we were talking about, does age limit, learning a language? No, 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 no. It doesn't limit. Age doesn't matter. Yeah. This is one of the biggest myths that we have here, where that you feel like a child will learn better than you. No, you as an adult, you can as well learn this language very well. But of course, children learn differently, and adults as well learn differently. So that does not mean that you cannot become fluent. No, you will become fluent. Yeah. So, but children will learn this through, will acquire, this by learning naturally through plays. And adults actually have a very big advantage. I know you asked me, how do adults have this advantage of learning this language than kids? Now look at this. Um, Adults can actually meet with a lot of people and they can try to have a conversation. And adults again, they have an advantage because they are disciplined. They may decide, I'm not saying that children are not disciplined, but I mean, adults have better discipline in maintaining something. If they say that I'm going to do this, they'll try to do it. Adults again have better focus. Adults again, they have better problem solving ability. And then lastly, these adults have a better understanding of grammar compared to children. So that's why I'm saying that adults have an advantage, and that is true. So remember, a child and an adult can all learn a language, and both of them are going to become fluent, but that one will matter on the methods that they are actually using. How consistent are you? How consistent are you in learning this particular language? Okay, but what is interesting again? Children will sound, like natives more easily, you know, but adults will always, learn grammar faster than children. That is true. And now a question to you. How old were you when you started learning, your current language, the language that you're using right now? How old were you? Were you a child or were you a teenager or were you an adult? And tell us your experience. How After how long did you start speaking? After how long did you become fluent? Yeah. Let us know in the comment section so that we can discuss through that. Okay. Now, let's continue. They usually ask like, oh, can anyone become fluent? Yes, you can become fluent. Anyone can become fluent. But, of course, there's a but coming. Fluency doesn't happen by accident. Nah, it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of, we have one, consistency. Consistency, sorry. How consistent are you in learning a language? How consistent are you in becoming fluent in this particular language? Exposure. Do you listen to music in that target language? You listen to music. Do you read stories of that particular, of the target language? Do you surround yourself with people who are native speakers of that particular language? Do you do that? Okay. And then another thing, practice. How often do you practice? Do you practice once a week? Or do you practice every day? Every day, 10 to 15 minutes? Which one are you? Every day, 10 to 15 minutes, or once a week? Now, Are you patient with yourself, or you just want to, you know, start becoming fluent? Hmm? What motivation do you have? Why are you learning this language? Remember the other day we said that motivation mostly, the reason as to why you are learning that particular language should be your motivation. Yeah. What motivated you to start learning that target language or that particular language? Hmm? Yeah. So, yes, everybody can become fluent, but do you do all that? Now, what I need us to know is that fluency is not about knowing the words. No, 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 no. Knowing the words is not enough. Knowing the words is not, um, is not fluency. No. Fluency is communicating effectively. So, if we are able to communicate fluently, effectively in that language, yeah, we are achieving fluency. Yeah. And even native speakers sometimes do not know every word, do they? Tell me in the comment section if you're a native speaker of a particular language, do you know every word? Comment in the comment section while you are answering that question because I really want us to know, is it true that I, as a native speaker, there are some words that I wouldn't know? Yes, that is true. Mhm. Now, after looking at that, I'd want to know, when you hear the word fluent, what does it mean to you? Hmm? Yeah. What does it mean to you? Or what comes into your mind when you hear the word fluency of yeah? Yes. Mm-hmm. Type it in the comment section. Let's have a discussion around all that. Because I know most of us here are going to be helped through that discussion. Hmm. You know, forgetting words is actually very normal. You know, let us now look at the forgetting curve. If you don't actually use something, what happens? You lose it, right? But every review makes forgetting slower. Okay? So if you keep on reviewing it, yeah, you'll not forget. Okay, not you'll not forget, it takes time for you to forget it. Now, isn't that true? Or what do you think about it? What do you think about all that? Hmm. Why do you think we forget words? Hmm. Why? Because we lack consistent practicing, right? If we don't practice every day, it means that we are going to forget. Now, let's look at this. Use the word today, tomorrow, 3 days later, next week, next month. What do you think is going to happen? You know, what do you think is going to happen? Mhm. That consistent using will make you not to forget these words. Remember, we said if you don't use it, what happens? You forget it. So let us make sure that we have that consistency in learning so that we do not forget these beautiful, beautiful words in this particular language that we are learning. I want us to look at now the biggest brain mistake: studying for hours. I know most of us may think that I'll have like 3 hours for study this week and then wait for next week. Now, instead of doing that, study consistently. Instead of actually reading only, how about you do reading, listening, speaking, as well as writing. Uh-huh. So instead of only reading, we feel like reading will help me. No. How about you incorporate it with, you know, um, listening, speaking, writing? And please do not become afraid of speaking. I know adults always have this problem of, thinking that if I speak, what if I speak a wrong thing? No, try to speak. Don't wait until you're fluent so that you can speak. Remember, speaking actually strengthens your memory. Now, trying to learn 100 words today. Imagine, look at this scenario. You are trying to learn 100 words today, and you are using that pacing, and you're also using it in sentences and maybe trying to communicate with people. What do you think is going to happen? Would you have good retention or not? Mhm. Okay, again, do you think trying to learn 100 words today is better than 10 words 10 times? Hmm? Are we saying that learning 100 words today, is it better than learning 10 words 10 times and use them and use them, 10 times today? Which one is better? I feel like if we break them into some, you know, small chunks, instead of 100, just let's use 10. And then those 10, let's, keep on repeating them that particular day. Use them in sentences, use them with people who are with you. Try to have a conversation and including those words. And I believe that you are going to have better retention of, you know, these words. Let us look at the myth that people would have. As we said the other day, you are not too old to learn a language. A lot of people say that they are too old, but they cannot learn a language. But the fact is that adults can absolutely become fluent in a certain language because they are actually at an advantage, as we said earlier on, because they have better understanding of grammar, better understanding of solving problems. They are disciplined compared to kids or children. Uh-huh. So another myth is that you find someone saying that, oh, I have a bad memory. I cannot learn a language. I cannot, I do not have better retention of these new words that I learn. Mm-mm. The fact that, we said this memory improves through repetition. Yeah. If you keep learning, and you keep on repeating these words, these phrases over and over again, you are going to improve, you are going to improve in your memory and you're going to retain these words. And then another myth that you always have someone saying that, oh, I must learn grammar first. I must learn grammar first. But the fact is that our brain learns a language through meaningful conversations. If you have a meaningful conversation with someone, or with people, that is when now our brain will start learn a language, instead of just grammar. Mm-mm. Try to have conversations, and through this conversation you'll start, it will help you a lot. Hmm. And then another myth we have where they say that, like, talent matter? Do you have a talent when it comes to learning a language, really? Do we? But the fact is that consistency matters more. And I'll keep on repeating this over and over again that we need to really, really be consistent. We say consistency over intensity, right? We need to be very consistent. And through that, we are going to become fluent. Mm-hmm. As we continue learning this, tell me, which one has worked for you, and you feel like you need to tell someone so that at least they can also improve in their, learning of this particular language. Mm-hmm. Now let us look at this. Tell me, help me complete this sentence. I remember Swahili best when I. Now, when do you remember that particular language best? When you do what? Is it when you hear it? Is it when you read it? Is it when you speak it? Or is it when you sing it? Or when you're teaching it to somebody else? Mm-hmm. I remember Swahili best when I hear it, read it, speak it, sing it, or teaching it to someone else. When do you? Please type it in the comment section. Tell me, let me know. Let me know when you remember this best. Je, ni wakati unasikiliza ama unasoma ama unaongea ama unaimba ama unamfunza mtu mwingine? Please type your answers in the comment section. Let me read. Let me see how we are learning this beautiful language. I'm happy to read them through so that we can have an interactive session as we all learn. I know people actually learn differently. How do you learn? How do you learn Swahili? Oh, how do you hear? How do you remember it best? Okay. I remember to look at the comment section so that we see what is happening. Um, your brain is designed to learn. Now, the question is, the question isn't whether your brain can learn Swahili. No, but it is actually, designed to learn. The question is whether you'll give it the consistent practice it needs. Mhm. Mm, all our brains are actually designed to learn. But the question is, you as a new learner, you as someone who wants to learn, are you going to give it the consistency practice it needs? Or you are going to, learn today, do it next week, you keep on, jumping. What are you going to do? So remember, we need to be consistent. We need to keep on feeding our brain with, you know, this language, but in a consistent manner, so that we are able to become fluent in no time. Remember, we say that you are not going to become fluent by accident. No, it needs exposure. It needs you to be consistent. It needs practice. So let's work towards it, and I believe that we will become fluent soon than you imagine it. So let's meet in our next live. And for another interactive session. Kwaheri.